Hello, hello.
Regis Kilbin is the name.
And today we're gonna look at more custom cards made by you guys for us to look at. And the first card being Commune with Nature. A 3-mana spell for Shaman that discovers a nature spell and gives the next nature spell you cast plus 2 spell damage. The first thing that came to mind was this epic spell we once had, which never really saw play. To be fair, it just discovers a random spell instead of just a nature spell, but it also reduces the cost. This card, however, gives you an next spell plus 2 spell damage if it's a nature spell. Thing is, for Shaman, I assume that like half the spells or so are going to be nature spells, so if you were to discover a spell that does not have any damage effect, then you could just play a spell from your hand that does have spell damage plus 2 then. Maybe something like Hagatha's Scheme is going to be a nature spell, maybe Volcano. And that way your board clears are a tiny little bit more efficient. But what I'm wondering is, this card gives you 1 card and kind of deals 2 more damage. That is not really worth 3 mana, is it? I would change this card to 2 mana, and then maybe give it away that it discovers something that 100% deals damage. Because what if you discover any spells that don't deal any damage? Then this card gives you 1 card. I like the idea, and I like nature. I went outside today, trust me on that. While Mankrik lost his wife and you gotta find it, there's Mankrik the Vengeant. As a 4-mana 4/5, Yeti stats in 1 card, has an upside. After a Frenzy effect triggers, this card remembers it. Here's what I'm worried about for Forged in the Barrens and any other expansion upcoming. All those keywords that I introduced, they're kind of like a one-time thing in most cases. Do we have any new Reborn minions? We don't. Are there new Invoke cards? No, so there probably won't be any new Frenzy cards. If we had at least a card like Mankrik number 2 in here, then the Frenzy cards we have at least had like an additional effect later on in the game. Because you could have a couple minions on the board, drop Mankrik, trigger the Frenzy effect, and then you get the effect again later. I'm not too sure about all of this. Because I feel like in most cases, if you were to play this card, then you need to either have 10 mana or your opponent just doesn't trade into your minions. So maybe you play it in Rogue and give it Stealth, and then all the Frenzy effects are going to be remembered by him. And then we get a Demolisher. I don't talk about the 3-mana 1/4, but a Baron's Demolisher. It deals damage to one of those towers that you can build. I think the towers you have in the game, 2 of them are going to be really good, almost broken, if not they are meta-defining, honestly. And 1 is going to be complete garbage. So if they're ever going to be too good, we will need to have something like a counter card. You know how Jade Idol was really broken and then only 2 years later they made Skulking Guys to counter that? Well, maybe in 2 years from now we get this card to counter all the watch posts. I just think as long as there's some archetype or some tribe in the game, there should be a counter card to it in case it's ever going to be too good. Do you remember Dragon Poacher or Dragon Girl number 2? I remember because I wanted to craft those cards in Golden. Then I crafted those cards in Golden, and then they never had any effect because trying to counter one specific archetype was pretty useless. But the cards do exist in case you ever want to do that, I guess. And for watch posts, we don't have that yet. So we do need this Demolisher. And then we get a watch post that could be destroyed by the card we just had. Ogre Watch Post. As a 6-mana 6/7, this watch post can't attack. But whenever an enemy minion attacks, you do summon a random ogre. There are some really good ogres and some other really good ogres. Honestly, every ogre is a good ogre. And with the Ogre Watch Post in a swamp, you could have the best ogre-themed deck. Did you know that you can make a 100% ogre deck in Warrior? With the Ogre Watch Post, you would even have ogre legendaries. On top of that, we have also not seen a single watch post that is legendary. So this could be one of them. Would be a really good card. Some classes got a Caravan, which they all suck. They are all 2-mana 1/3s that give you something at the start of your turn, which is terrible. For Rogue though, we didn't get one, so here are 2 that people made. One is called the Raided Caravan. It's a battle cry that friendly characters attack this minion, and when it dies you get 2 coins to your hand. So you kind of damage your own characters, but you also get the 2 mana back that you just spent. So you could play this for 2 mana, get 2 mana back in form of coins, use both coins, and then use something like Prize Plunderer or Edwin Van Cleef and summon a Big Eddie or deal some damage. Or you destroy your own minions with this. I like the idea that you spend 2 mana, get the 2 mana back. However, all the other watch posts are doing something at the beginning of your turn if they survive for 1 turn. This just dies. Or it survives and then you have a 2-mana 1/3. But for that your board needs to be empty and you don't have a weapon equipped. And that is kind of rare in Rogue. So here's version 2. Mercenaries Caravan. Also 2-mana 1/3, but at the start of your turn you add a random poison to your hand. We do have Xeril Poisoned Mind, which gives you, never mind the other card. We have that guy that gives you a random poison. And with the Mercenaries Caravan, you can get one of those poisons at the start of your turn to your hand. We have like Deadly Poison. I'm not sure about the other poisons, and I probably have them on screen. I'm pretty sure we have more than like 3. Or they wouldn't make the card. But yeah, we got some poison. And this one would add one of those to your hand. And I think for rogues, that would make sense. I would just like to have it so that there's one specific gimmick or archetype per expansion that is across all classes. And not just half of them. Like why does Shaman have one for Murlocs but Rogue not for poisons? Questions, questions, questions. The next question is... Hogger. Originally, Great Legendary. 6 mana 4/4, summons taunts. Then we had Hogger Doom of Elwyn, I think, in Whispers of the Old Gods of 5 years ago. Damn, this card sucks hard, but it's still Hogger, nonetheless. And if you would like to make it 3/4/3, you can now have Hogger Frenzy Null. It's a 6 mana 4/4 with Rush, and Frenzy, it summons a taunt minion based on how much damage this minion took. So that way you would have a 6 mana 7/7 maybe, that deals 4 damage to something. Maybe 6 mana 8/8, maybe a 6 mana 10/10. And at this point I realized I didn't read the card correctly. Never mind. You summon a null, a 2/2 null with taunt for each point of damage this minion took. Which still means if you take like 6 or 7 damage, your board could be full of taunts. Seems like a more proactive Hogger instead of just summon minion, wait for it to summon more. Then we get a Hellfire Drake. It deals 2 damage to all minions that are non-dragons. There's this one card called Primordial Drake that people really liked in Ungoro, which deals 2 damage to all minions. So it's kind of like the effect of the 4/3 that we have right here. Personally, I'm a fan of dealing damage, which excludes a certain type, because then you can play board clears in decks that are more aggressive themed without destroying your own board. For example, we do have the Blue Dragon Breath, which looks really sick and golden in Descent of Dragons, which people do play in Priest. But I think that's the only dragon themed card that deals damage to everything that is not a dragon. So with the Hellfire Drake, I would like to add that to my Dragon Warrior, which, fun fact, was a really good deck in Karazhan and hasn't seen play since. With the Barons, we gotta say one thing, and that is for the Horde, which is the next spell. For 6 mana, you summon 2 Frenzy minions from your deck and you give them Rush, which means this card is twice as good as the card called Recruit, which has the effect of Recruit. Big Warrior is a pretty big meme. We do have Bow Cleaver as a weapon, and some other cards like Dimensional Ripper, or the other thing that is on screen that summons stuff from your deck. However, we don't have something specific. We have reveal something from your deck, summon this from your deck. But it's not one specific type of minion. With Frenzy minions, you could stack your deck with like 4 good Frenzy minions, draw for the Horde, and you know what you're going to get. Kind of like a mini version of Tip the Scales, but for the Horde. Then we get Inside the Mind. For free, you become a Shadow Priest. At the start of the game, it transforms your hero power into the Shadow Form hero power. But when you draw this card, you do lose 2 mana crystals. Keep in mind that playing Shadow Form or having Shadow Form active is the same as just playing Odd Mage, but you're emo. Gotta say, you look a lot prettier in purple, but it's the same thing as Odd Mage. So with the drawback of destroying 2 of your mana crystals, that's pretty bad. If it would be something like lose 2 mana crystals this turn only, maybe, but destroying 2 seems like a big downside. Remember this one funny card that is like Keleseth but better? That destroys 3 of your mana crystals? Yeah, that never saw play. So I think I would rather spend 3 mana to cast Shadow Form and then stick with that. And lastly, we get a triple R minion, the Road Rage Runner. For 2 mana 2/1 with Rush, this card is pretty boring. However, when this minion is on top of your deck, so it would be the next card you draw, you just draw this card immediately. If drawing a card is worth about 1 mana, or in the case of Secret Passage, 0.25 mana, then this card either costs like 1 mana, or it costs 1.75 mana. It's also a max, so you can play Galvanizer or Mech Warper to reduce the cost. Maybe Magnet has something onto it, or you just deal 2 damage. I remember those days in Ungoro when I casted a 2 mana spell for Rogue that gave me 2 1 mana spells that deal 1 damage. And because I did play that, I think I would also play that. At least the idea is good. As long as the card is on top of your deck, you get it for free. And I would like to have that concept actually implemented into the game, because I like to draw cards, I like to play fast. And with the Road Rage Runner, I would say, this is the last custom cards video before the expansion gets released. Tomorrow at 7 PM my time, the expansion is going to go live. So when this video is 27 hours old, the expansion should be out so we can all play it. I'm going to be streaming again on Twitch, probably on Wednesday so I can actually play the expansion, and we'll record some games for the daily channel so we can actually post daily again. Next custom card contest also going to be in Discord. Please wait until like Tuesday or Wednesday to submit cards, because the theme is going to be Fortune the Barons cards, but better. That's the theme, make the cards that are garbage better. Here are some more custom cards, here's the expansion showdown, and until then, take care.